Bonjour y'all, my name is Brita, and today on Witches Unite, I am going over your different options for spending your first 15 to 20 Defense Against the Dark Arts books in your SOS training in Wizards Unite. Your strategy for spending Defense Against the Dark Arts books ultimately comes down to your personal play style and preferences in the game. I have done a lot of reading and research on this. I will link to the guides that I read to prepare for this video in the description down below. I don't necessarily agree with every other expert's written conclusion about the best way to spend Defense Against the Dark Arts books, simply because I realize we are all at different levels in Wizards Unite and we do have different priorities. This will be a bit of a long video, so if you already know your game priority, you can skip to that section in the timestamp down below to find the best strategy for you. For this particular video, I am going over different ways to spend up to 20 Defense Against the Dark Arts books. After players finish the ongoing Brilliant event, first year at Hogwarts, then you will have had the opportunity to earn up to 20 Defense Against the Dark Arts books. I'm aware of the fact that not all players are able to finish the bonus assignments for all Brilliant events, but this information will still eventually be useful for you, even if it takes you another Brilliant event or two to reach the necessary Defense Against the Dark Arts books for this guide. I do recommend waiting until you have at least 15 Defense Against the Dark Arts books, preferably 20, to decide how to spend them, just because you will then have better options. My first recommendation is for players who lack access to certain resources. If you have a hard time finding a snowdrop, if you are not able to visit greenhouses very often, if you are frequently low on spell energy, whether it's just not appearing on the map for you or you're nowhere near an inn, then you might want to start by boosting your Exstimulo potions. What is great about this option is that you do not have to be a very high level in order to get two different skills in Calamity Essentials 1 with your Defense Against the Dark Arts books that boost Exstimulo potions. So the first one that we are going to look at is called Awesome Blossom. I think it's this one. Yes, I remembered the correct place. So Awesome Blossom will give you one additional use of a regular Exstimulo potion. Normally the regular Exstimulo potion has 3 uses, so this will give you 4 uses. This costs 10 Defense Against the Dark Arts books, plus 96 field guides and 6 ministry manuals. So you will then probably have some Defense Against Dark Arts books left over, in which case you will want to buy some of volunteer work. Each of these nodes will cost 4 Defense Against the Dark Arts books, and they will boost your potent Exstimulo potion. They will essentially make your potent Exstimulo potion more potent. There are 3 different times that you can level that up, and each of those will cost 4 Defense Against the Dark Arts books. Again, this is a really great option if you are a lower level player, because you only have to be level 12 to, right? Yes. Level 12 to unlock those nodes. And again, it's great if you lack resources, so you need your Exstimulo potions to be more effective. My next recommendation is for players who are level 20 or close to level 20. This will require a full 20 Defense Against the Dark Arts books. If you are an Auror or a Magizoologist, then you need a great deal of spellbooks in order to max out your profession. While you can earn spellbooks by doing wizarding challenges, by receiving extravagant runestone gifts from friends, and by completing certain in-game events it can still be a fairly slow grind. So at level 20, you have the opportunity to unlock False Passage. This skill gives you the chance to earn spellbooks when you level up in your exploration registry. If you have seen the animation, you get a treasure trunk, and it's very exciting, and you get things out of the treasure trunk. Well, with this skill, the treasure trunk might just include spellbooks. If you are a professor, this skill is not going to be quite as important for you because you need a lot more restricted section books than you need spellbooks. However, you still might decide that it is worth it to you, particularly if you don't have a lot of friends for exchanging gifts, or you don't enjoy doing wizarding challenges on a regular basis. It really depends on your playstyle and your priorities as to whether or not False Passage is a good use of Defense Against the Dark Arts books. The next options will all be in Calamity Essentials 2. These are the options that most players, at least on the internet, seem to be considering for their own Defense Against the Dark Arts books. So the first one is called Whetstone of the Mind. Whetstone for the Mind. This node itself is not very exciting. It improves the potency of your wit sharpening potion, which is like, whoo. But that blocks another skill that many players would like to have, being Spanglerillion, which is an awesome word. So this skill allows you to hold more trace charms at a time. Let me show you what that means. I'll go to my map real quick. So I am tapping on my little field charm icon, and you can see that I am able to hold 4 trace charms at a time. For this reason, I am probably not going to do Whetstone for the Mind because I'm not sure that at this point I need to hold 5 trace charms at a time. The reason I can already hold 4 is because I unlocked Cold Case, but Cold Case is not available until Calamity Essentials 3, so a lot of players are not at that level yet, or they don't have the resources, so they can only hold 2 trace charms right now. Anyway, another reason for getting Whetstone for the Mind are the general spell mastery nodes that you unlock, although it will take a few additional nodes in order to get to those. So, as you can see, we have Whetstone for the Mind, which is 15 Defense Against the Dark Arts books. Then, Spell Mastery against Wonders of the Wizarding World. That's not too expensive. Gesundheit, also not too expensive. The Grind, also fairly cheap. And then we have 2 different nodes for General Spell Mastery. Many players are excited about the General Spell Mastery. Of course, that applies to any foundable family. That might be a reason that you want to invest in the Whetstone for the Mind, just so that you can get to those General Spell Mastery nodes. The other really popular skill that many players are considering is a horse with no name. So this in and of itself is actually fairly good because it applies to your overall departure denial. Similar to overall spell mastery, the overall departure denial will work against any foundable family. Reducing your departure denial is pretty darn exciting. It also reduces plus eventually eliminates your need for DADA drafts, at least when paired with other skills. So this would cost you 14 Defense Against the Dark Arts books. And it also unlocks other important skills. So Piece of the Puzzle increases your Trace Charm Proficiency. So Trace Charm Proficiency refers to how many fragments and how much family XP you get for returning each Trace Charm foundable. So proficiency just makes each of those returns from using your Trace Charm more valuable. That's compared to efficacy, which increases the number of additional traces you get on the map from using your Trace Charm. It's a little confusing, I know. So this would be a pretty exciting skill to get. However, I would like to point out that at the moment, proficiency is bugged. That might affect your decision on how to spend your Defense Against the Dark Arts books. Right now, you can only get one additional fragment for each of those traces, despite the fact that many players already have proficiency that should be giving them like 3 or 4 fragments for each return foundable. That is just something to keep in mind. That might not be the best skill for you if you are waiting to see how proficiency ends up working out. There is one more option if you are looking to improve your Exstimulo potions. This unlocks at level 17, so it's actually not too out of reach for most players. It is in Calamity Essentials 2. Saint Mungo's. So this will cost you 20 Defense Against the Dark Arts books for each time that you unlock it, where there's 2 options here. This will improve your strong Exstimulo potion. Many players like to focus on their strong Exstimulo potions because those are the ones that you can receive as rewards. These are occasional random drops from returning foundables. They are rewards from your daily assignments, rewards kind of in the calendar, lots of different ways to earn strong Exstimulo potions. I like strong Exstimulo potions because they are the nice balance of ingredient rarity and brewing time and potency. So it is obviously stronger than a regular Exstimulo potion. It has more uses than a regular Exstimulo potion, but Abraxan hair is not nearly as hard for me to get as unicorn hair. I still haven't decided how I personally am going to spend my Defense Against the Dark Arts books, but St. Mungo's is definitely one of the nodes that I am considering. I know this was a long video. I covered a lot of information in this video, and I'm going to leave you with even more resources to help you decide on the best use of your Defense Against the Dark Arts books. In the description down below, you will find a link to a PDF from player community member Andolov. He has broken down more of these lessons in detail with his opinions on the best skills to unlock, as well as the skills that he thinks are not worth your Defense Against the Dark Arts books. I have also linked to the article on Wizards Unite Hub, which shares some of your best options for spending 15 Defense Against the Dark Arts books. So if you are a player who is not able to always complete the bonus assignment in Brilliant Events, that article will help you with your 15 Defense Against the Dark Arts books. I have also linked to a couple of spreadsheets that will help you look at all of the lessons sort of in a more easy format than actually on your phone in the game. Big shout out to everyone who is producing all of this content for the entire community to use and share and learn from. I love that we are truly wizards and witches uniting to help each other play this game. So that is about all that I have for y'all today. If you enjoyed this lesson, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below with how you plan on spending your Defense Against the Dark Arts books. I am very close to 1,000 subscribers, so if you want to join me on my magical pink journey, hit that subscribe button. If notifications are your jam, ring that notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. I love this community, the broader Wizards Unite community, but also the smaller one with all of you watching this video. So thank you for being a part of my journey. All right, until next time, au revoir, witches.